Galatians 5:22 through 23 says this, "But the fruit of the Spirit is love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, goodness, faithfulness, gentleness, and self-control. Against us there is no law." I love fruit. It's both delicious and good for you. My favorite fruit is probably watermelon. I think I could eat a watermelon until I turn red. What's your favorite fruit? There's something very good about eating a piece of fruit that is in perfect season and perfectly ripe. The Bible talks about character qualities that are godly, that all Christians should possess. They are called the fruits of the Spirit. If the Holy Spirit lives inside of you, we should begin to show these qualities that I have mentioned every day. People should be able to see how you live your life and see love, see joy, see patience, peace, kindness, goodness, faithfulness, gentleness, and self-control. How many of you would consider yourself to be a patient person? You'll notice I did not raise my hand. Self-control is another one that's difficult. If I were to ask you how many of you think that you're a person of love, joy, and peace, many of you would raise your hand, and I would say yes, we see those qualities in you. One thing that is for sure, we are not born with these qualities. They have to be developed. Jesus himself shared these qualities, and I want to give you some examples. Jesus loved a man named Lazarus and raised him from the dead. So many examples of Jesus healing were healing situations where he healed other people. He loved people. Joy. Does anyone here know what Jesus' first miracle was? Turning water into wine in a wedding in Cana. How many people were joyful on that day when he made water into wine? Jesus knew what it meant to bring joy into people's life. Peace. Do you remember when Jesus was being arrested and Peter, the rock, grabbed his sword and cut off the ear of the servant of the high priest? And then Jesus just simply reached down, probably brushed off that ear and just put it back on that man. And then he looked at his disciple and said, "Those who live by the sword will die by the sword." Giving the message to his disciple, I am a person of peace, not of war. Patience. Now I want you to pause for a second and think. Many of you have read the Bible several times. Think about the life of Jesus. Can you ever find anywhere in the scripture where Jesus rushed anywhere? You won't find it. I've searched and searched. He did not rush anywhere. He was very patient. In fact, the only place that it appears that he rushed anywhere was probably to the cross of Calvary for you and I. Kindness. Do you remember the story of the woman caught in adultery? Jesus was teaching, and these men, these teachers of the law, these Pharisees, dragged this poor woman who was caught in the act of adultery, threw this lady at the feet of Jesus and said, "This woman was caught in the act of adultery. According to the law of Moses, she should be stoned to death. What do you say, Jesus?" You see, they were trying to trap Jesus. If Jesus said, "Yeah, go ahead and kill her," then he would be speaking against his words of forgiveness, of love. And if he were to say, "No, let her go," then they would trap him and say, "You're not following the law of Moses." And so Jesus knelt down and he began to write in the dirt. The Bible doesn't say what he wrote. But I believe that what he wrote are the words, "It is written." You see, the words "it is written" in the Hebrew go back to obeying the law to the letter. And I think Jesus was saying, where's the guy? You bring only the woman here, where's the guy? Some think that Jesus may have been writing the names of their mistresses, of those men. And then he looked up at them and said, "You who are without this sin, you throw the first stone." And beginning with the oldest, the wisest, began to drop their rocks one by one and walked away. And then all that was left was Jesus and this woman who thought for sure that her life was going to end that day. Imagine yourself in that situation, waiting at any time for huge rocks to be thrown onto your head and your life would be ended. And your life was in the hands of this unknown rabbi, prophet named Jesus. And then Jesus said something very powerful to those men and to that woman. And he looked out at her and he said, "Where are your accusers? Where are they at?" And I assume she probably looked around and she says, "No one." And then Jesus probably softly said to her, "And neither do I accuse you. Neither do I." And then, not to wink at sin, because Jesus talked about the sin of adultery, Jesus probably compassionately said, "Go and sin no more. Leave your life of sin." Jesus showed kindness, goodness. Jesus healed 2 blind men in the Gospel of Mark. Faithfulness. Jesus was faithful to go to the cross for our behalf. Gentleness. Jesus healed the crippled man who could not go to swim in the pool of Bethesda. Self-control. Jesus was tempted 3 times in the desert by the devil for food, for power, and for kingship. And Jesus refuted them all with scriptures. How about you today? How are you on love, on joy, on peace, patience, kindness, goodness, faithfulness, gentleness, and self-control? Over the next 10 weeks, I'm going to take each one of those. We're going to kind of dive into the Scripture and see what we can learn. How we can be more of a person of love. How we can be more of a person of peace and patience and kindness. Let us begin with love. The second greatest commandment is to love our neighbor as ourselves. The first is to love the Lord your God with all your heart, soul, mind, and strength. And then Jesus said, love your neighbor as yourself. Now that's just not the person who lives across the street of you, beside you, but it's people you work with. Some of your relatives, all of your relatives. Love your neighbor. Martin Luther King said this about love. Darkness cannot drive out darkness. Only light can do that. Hate cannot drive out hate. Only love can drive out hate. There are 3 ways to show love to your neighbor. Be a good complimenter, be an encourager, and allow your actions to show kindness and love. John Wesley had 3 simple rules to live by. I've memorized them. Do no harm. Always do good. Stay in love with God. Joy. Ladies, did you know that joy is the best makeup? Joy begins with a smile. It's the best makeup. The important thing I've learned about joy and people who possess joy is that it's always a choice. When we wake up in the morning, we have the choice to be bitter or better, joyful or sad. It's a choice. All of these fruits of the Spirit, you are not born with these. They have to be developed. And so to be a joyful person means that you've made a choice to put a smile on your face. You've made a choice to look at the glass half full. You've made a choice to be happy. It doesn't come easy, but it's always a choice. Those of you that know a joyful person know that to be around them is a contagious party. We like to be around people that are joyful. And if you want to be joy in your life, then make that choice in your life. Peace. Peace always begins with a smile. The better way to find peace is not through force, but through understanding and communication. And then patience. Jesus never rushed anywhere in the Scriptures. Patience is a virtue. Patience is not the ability to wait, but it's having a good attitude while you wait. Let me say that again. Patience is not the ability to wait. It's having a good attitude while you wait. This is the one I struggle with. This is the one I ask, Lord, help me with. Because I like to get things done. I don't know if it was just the military teaching me that or just who I am as a person, but to get things done, to double task, and if I have to wait in line, I'm like, okay, here we go, here we go, here we go. Maybe you're the same way. How many of you have ever gone to the grocery store and accidentally got behind a line of someone that has a grocery cart full like a mountain? And all you have is one thing. I went to the grocery store a few weeks ago to pick up 1 gallon of milk. I was in a bit of a hurry to get to a meeting I had at church. As I zipped up to the checkout counter, I thought it would be a quick scan of the gallon of milk, put a few dollars out of my wallet, and say to the teller, "Had a great evening." But that was not to be. Although I did not know it, I was in for a slow motion experience that would test all of the patience I had. In front of me was a nice lady who had a grocery cart packed so full, things were dripping off the side. I don't know if I've ever seen a grocery cart so full. Unfortunately, this was the only teller available at this time of day, so I was sort of stuck in a unique situation. I began tapping my foot, immediately wondering how long this was going to take. Knowing I had to get to a meeting, everything seemed to be going in slow motion. Have you been where I've been? About the third or fourth item in the checkout scan, there was a problem with the scanner with one of the canned goods, and the teller yelled out over the microphone, "Price check." You know what price check means? That means someone's got to go find the item, bring it back up while I'm waiting to get to my meeting. I looked at my watch and tried to keep calm. The next delay involved all of the bagged vegetables and fruits that needed to be individually weighed and priced, and commented on the ripeness and firmness of each fruit and vegetable. I thought to myself, Lord, give me strength, as I held my single purchase of 1 gallon of milk. The gallon of milk seemed to get heavier by the minute. Finally, all of her items were scanned, and I could see the light at the end of the tunnel. But that was false hope. The lady then pulled out a small file box in her huge purse with hundreds of coupons for the many purchases she just made. The teller and the lady slowly laid out 20 or 30 multicolored coupons and tried to match with the different things that she had purchased. I began to wonder if this was some sort of joke, and I was on TV with candid camera. I started to read the magazines on the side counter. After the coupon marathon matching process was complete, the bill was totaled and the lady inserted her credit card to pay for her groceries. Finally, in just 30 seconds of internet wonder and a banking transfer miracle, I would be set free to finally pay for my single gallon of milk. Could you believe that her credit card was denied? Yes, I couldn't believe it either, but that's exactly what happened. Under my breath, I whispered, Lord, give me patience. I think I could have stopped by a dairy farm and milked a cow. The lady then dug into her large purse, rummaging deeply, desperately trying to find her checkbook. Finally finding her checkbook, she slowly began to write out her check, explaining to the cashier that it had been a while since she had done this, and it may just take a little bit of time. Surprise, surprise! The check was given to the teller, and I knew I was finally next to pay for my single gallon of milk, and I set my milk up on the conveyor belt. And then she asked if she could make change for a $20 bill. Why not? I thought, I am already late for my meeting, and what's another minute or two? I finally stood in line and was able to pay for my milk. That story, that's life. That's life, folks. Whether it's a traffic jam, whether it's a slow-moving train, whether it's construction on Highway 2 or the bridge, waiting in line is a part of life. As busy as our lives get, perhaps resting and waiting should be seen as more of a blessing than an inconvenience. Maybe waiting for Bob should be more of a blessing than an inconvenience. Patience and self-control seem to go hand in hand with me as the two most difficult fruits of the Spirit to live out. As a person who likes to get a lot of things accomplished, obstacles or hurdles seem to get in the way. I believe God is asking me to slow down, to take things simple, and don't take the small stuff so seriously. I want to give you a word of advice, church family. Don't take life so seriously. Have fun. Take your career seriously. Take your relationship with God seriously. But have fun and don't take life always so seriously. Take time to smell the beautiful, fragrant roses of everyday life experiences than rushing through life at 100 miles per hour. I have been in churches with a lot of retirees, and somehow the retirees seem to get it, and at 58, I haven't got it yet. Maybe when I'm 65, I'll get it. I don't know. But I work on it. Kindness is next. Abraham Lincoln once said, kindness is the only service that will stand the storms of life and not wash away. Now this is an important quote, and I want you to remember it. The smallest act of kindness is far greater than the grandest intention. You see, we can intend to do something and say, I'm going to do this for you. I'm going to show this act of kindness. Maybe we should live by the philosophy of the Nike logo. Just do it. If you have a thought in your mind to care for someone or to give someone or do something kind, just do it, rather than just intending to do it. Perhaps that voice in your mind saying you need to do this is God Himself saying, give, serve, lead. We need to be kind people. We sang a song today, let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me. Goodness. It's nice to be important, but it's more important to be nice. How many of your moms told you that? It's nice to be important, but it's more important to be nice. Matthew 5:16, let your light so shine before men that they may see your good works. You see, folks, that's what it's all about. We live in a dark world. Oh, there are 100 or so people in here, and there are 100 lights. There are 100 lights in this room, and as you go out to your market, as you go out to the workplace, as you go out to your families, be light, be kind, be good, be joyous. Let your light shine. Because some people on this planet